Hello, hello, hello. Hey everyone, how is it going? We are just getting started. So as we wait for people to come in, then let's just check out this video. Buying a property in Ghana is more than a transaction, especially when you're not from Ghana or you don't live in Ghana. It's a story of vision, trust, and timing. Today, we follow some of my clients from the UK and the US on a journey to find their perfect property to invest in. And these individuals are about to make a life-changing decision. Good to meet you, finally. I know. I got a little something from Ghana as well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So looking forward to today.
Yes.
So yes, we're going to be having a look at. So we're looking at one-bedroom apartments. I'll be showing you. So we've got about 4 that I'll be showing you around town. So we're going to head off to the first one. The meeting's in 30 minutes. So we're going to check those ones out first, and then we're going to move on to another. I want to make sure you've got trainers. Yeah, all good, because they're sites as well. So I've got trainers in the car. So does everybody else have trainers on as well? Okay, awesome. Perfect. I'm Lorraine, Wright, property coach and the founder of Diaspora to Home. Over the years, countless diasporans have taken that leap into the Ghanaian property market, some uncertain and others searching for the right path. Through every journey, from first viewings to final handovers, it's always been about more than just property purchases. These are steps towards legacy, generating wealth, creating income, and building places that finally feel like home. The first stop, a modern, compact space tucked in a vibrant district. Sleek, convenient, but is this the one?
So to the right of you, if you can imagine, when you walk in, that's going to be your front door, the front entrance to the development here. You're going to come in here. This is going to be the open concept foyer. So where you check in as a guest, or you're coming in as a homeowner, right? To the right of you here is going to be our community area, where you're going to have your resort style pool, your underground parking, EV station.
Turn off the AC in the living room. Just came to see one of the developments, and the clients were just impressed, super impressed
in the living room.
Because this development it's almost like all encompassing. It has like the gym, the restaurant, the swimming pool, a diaspora center. They're building a community. One thing I always tell my clients is always try and get the CEO's number. And thankfully the CEO was around, so they were able to quiz him, speak to him, discuss a few things around his concept, his ideas, making sure that he's going to be on time.
We'll have retail, we'll have commercial spaces, we'll have a gym, 5-star.
What concept with Blossom Residence is more or less for the fast traveler. When you look at particularly at continents, you don't really have a lot of hotels here. So you do have people that want the hotel concept.
Our next stop, the showroom of a future development set to be completed in just a few years at a price point that turns heads. Every detail was crafted to impress, and that's exactly what it did. My clients walked away inspired, excited, and most of all, wowed. Could you share a bit more about the warranty period?
So in terms of warranty period for the fixtures and finishes, we have about 6 months, and then we have a year for the structure. Hi, my name is Maxine. I've just come to Ghana to invest in some properties here. I've been introduced to various building contractors and management companies. Through Lorraine, we've had a great time. We've seen some wonderful properties, which is going to be very difficult to choose which one I want. Because I've seen a few. She's been very hospitable. Lorraine's been transparent, giving me all the information, making sure I ask the right questions so that I can make a concise and informed decision. Thank you, Lorraine, for being here for me and supporting me, and hopefully we can do business together.
So the next property development is an off-plan property by a very well-known developer. In fact, I've taken the clients today to Oli top named reputable developers in Ghana. We're going to see another one. So yeah, really excited to see what my clients' reactions are going to be to this one as well. So yeah, let's see. Unexpected, unfiltered. This home brought a different tone, one that nobody saw coming.
So these are the townhouses. Most of them are 3 bedrooms, and this just the only one that is a 4-bedroom. All en suite. We have guest washrooms as well, and all that. It's big enough, sizable. People have bought it. It's all sold out. All the developments here are sold out. Like I said again, the reason why we're here is because I want to show you what our finish is.
But listen, I'm here in Ghana. My name is Makesi Anika. My official Ghanaian name is Kwabena Ibo.
And my official Ghanaian name is Kofi.
Yes, Kofi Annan.
I'm here from London, and we are here to try to get some more people back home to Ghana. It's lovely, going good. Lorraine is doing a good job. She's
doing a fantastic job. She's doing
all
a fantastic
over
job.
England, America, Canada, wherever she can get them to come back home to the homeland.
Yeah, we're gonna help her. We're gonna bring some more people back here to the motherland, back to Ghana specifically, and see all of this beauty. I mean, this is an amazing place, and we want more of our people to enjoy and bask in the glory of this greatness. So we want you here with us.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We indeed want more of you to come back home to Ghana, as some of my amazing clients mentioned on that video. So thank you guys for joining me this evening. I appreciate it. I've been trying to get a bit more comfortable with doing more lives. So you're going to see me pretty often now, because we're going to just try and get some more lives done. But thank you guys. I saw some amazing people just join on my Instagram live. So I have my YouTube live running. I don't have LinkedIn today, and I don't have TikTok today. So we're going with Instagram, we're going with YouTube today. So if you are watching, then please can you drop in the comments where you're watching from, guys. Right now, if I share my screen, on those of you that are on Instagram, you can see somebody's here from Antarctica, somebody's here from Brazil, Japan in the building, Brazil in the building, Netherlands in the building, Ghana's in the building. I'm like, wow, guys. Barbados on YouTube. Nah, this is crazy, guys. This is actually crazy. This is a global thing. This is like, I'm so excited when I see people from around the world. This is amazing. London's in the building, guys. Keep letting me know where you guys are at. I found out the other day that Croydon is a city. So if you're here from Croydon, please let me know, because I was checking out my statistics and I saw that Croydon is one of the in the top cities of the individuals that cities that follow me and engage with my content. So it's great to have you guys here. Today's presentation, guys, today's live is in partnership with TransferGo. So TransferGo essentially is for people in the UK and Europe when sending money to Ghana. And today's presentation is going to be all about how you can buy property and how you can finance your property and send money safely to Ghana. So if you are excited about today's presentation, today's webinar, please drop a fire emoji in the chat window. I see Florida is in the building. I wish I can share what people are saying on Instagram into here, but it's not possible. But I can see Florida's in the building, London's in the building, Antarctica. I think you've won. You've actually won. I mean, that's like, yeah, you won the game here, Antarctica. Okay, but guys, if you're excited, please drop a fire emoji in the chat window whilst I share my screen and get started to show you guys what we're going to be doing today. I see another London in the building. Amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining. I appreciate it. So we're going to get started. We're going to be talking about, like I said, how you can essentially buy property in Ghana, how you can essentially send money to Ghana, and how you can finance property in Ghana. And as I said, today's presentation is in partnership with TransferGo as well. So if anybody's looking to send money to Ghana from UK or Europe, please do use my link, which you should find in the description box below. And I'll also be sharing it through the presentation. So guys, if this is you, I'm going to be sharing a couple of statements. If any of this is you, then please put the number that I'm going to mention in the chat window, just so I can make sure that we are all here and we engage. If you are not living in Ghana, but you want passive returns from Ghana, please put a number 1 in the chat. Wherever you are, whatever platform you're on, whether you are on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube, I'm going to check my phone as well. I should have just done a TikTok live today as well. But if you are essentially somebody who doesn't live in Ghana, but you want to find out about how you can buy how you could get passive returns from Ghana, please put a number 1 in the chat. I can see some number 1s already. Amazing. Thank you to the guys on Instagram. I love the fact that Instagram people you engage. So thank you so much. YouTube guys, come on, please help me out here. Number 2, let me know who is coming to Ghana for 30 December. Put a number 2 in the chat. If that is you, put a number 2 in the chat. If you are coming to Ghana for Christmas this year for 30 December, put a number 2 in the chat. Let's see it. Please put a number 2 in the chat. If you are coming to Ghana this Christmas, then we want to see it, guys. So put a number 2 in there whilst I check out who from YouTube is oh, sorry, to those people that I emailed as well. Somebody said last minute. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for joining, those of you that received my email as well. If you want to join my email mailing list, then please drop me a DM and I'll make sure you're on my email mailing list as well. So guys, if you are coming to Ghana, I see a couple of number 2s, so put a number 2 in there. If you started looking at properties already in Ghana, but you kind of feel a little bit stuck because you're not sure what's legit, then please put a number 3 in the chat, just so we can see who is here and who is thinking about certain properties at the moment. Put a number 3 in the chat. Okay, I can see my YouTube people. I can see my super fans on YouTube as well. Thank you, guys. I see number 1s in the chat as well. So thank you guys as well for that. Oh, Mr. Steroid, how far? Okay, you can see January. No worries. I'll also be there. We'll enjoy it together in January. Okay, number 4. If your parents have family houses, and it's taken them ages to build that, whether it's through a family member or this is a still uncompleted building, let me know if that's a you. Put number 4 in the chat. Okay. Let me know that's is it number 4 for you guys. Again, I'm just checking out the YouTube people. Okay, and number 5, you're serious about buying, but you don't know how to structure your payments, how to get financing. One of the questions I always get asked, especially in my DMs, is how to finance property. You're not alone. That's probably one of the, that's the number 1 question that I get asked, how to finance property in Ghana. So today's webinar is all going to be about that, the different ways that you can do it. So please put number 5 in the chat if that's you. Okay, because then I know how I could tailor today's conversation. Okay, guys. And then put a number 6 in the chat if you found a property you like, but you don't know how to check ownership, negotiate, or make your payments safely. Please put that in the chat as well, please. If that's you, please put it in the chat. Okay. Right. Sorry, because I've got so many okay, guys, I can see the number 5. So a lot of you want to know how you can finance property. You're not alone, trust me. There's many people. I received that as the number 1 thing. But somebody also has come in and said they found something, but you don't know how to check ownership, negotiate, and make payments safely. So we're going to speak about that as well. So guys, let's get into it. So, right, here's a quick case study, right? Some of you might be aware, but I guess for legal purposes, I'm just going to call this Developer X. So Developer X, essentially, probably earlier on this year, some of you might have heard about a situation that occurred also last year, but many investors purchased some off-plan properties from Developer X, allegedly, right? And they believed they were securing prime real estate, okay? Allegedly. I'll put out my disclaimers there, okay? Now, promises were allegedly made to these people that included guaranteed returns, a 16-week completion timeline, and significant discounted offers, right? And legal assurances. That's something that happened, right? And it's happening. And what essentially happened is that there were incomplete projects, there was legal disputes, and there was mismanagement of funds that left a lot of buyers stranded. So a lot of those investors essentially lacked the transparency, clear communication. They won't be able to get answers from the developer X. And it meant that they were essentially left paying their full price of this property, but left with nothing, right? So there is a massive court case right now, and a number of these people have actually sued developer X, and they're currently in court at the moment, and that's a $6 million court case, if at least, right? Trying to recoup some of the costs that these guys have spent. So the reason why I'm just sharing this with you, and it's important for me to share that with you guys, is because there is essentially a gap when it comes to the diaspora. A lot of the diaspora might not live in Ghana, but they want to safely be able to invest in Ghana. They want to be able to get clarity and trust. They want to be able to actually own a piece of home, right? But a lot of the problem we're finding is that a lot of these developers are not transparent sometimes, and there's a lack of documentation. There's sometimes people don't know what they're paying for. Sometimes people don't know how to even send money to Ghana, right? And these tend to be the common issues that you tend to find: how to verify that somebody legally owns a property that you're buying, right? Does anybody else have any challenges that they've come across when it comes to being away from Ghana and buying property in Ghana? Just drop it in the chat window for me. If you have had a problem buying property in Ghana before, or you've experienced some issues, please drop it in the chat window, just because I want us to just have that kind of safe space so we can learn from each other, right? And just share what some of our individual problems have been. And that's the reason why I do what I do. I'm all about trying the best to provide transparency to those people who want to buy property in Ghana, who want to have a home away from home, but try and do it in the right way. So please do drop it in the chat if you have had experience buying property in Ghana. So people are messaging as well on trying to get the links. I'm trying to send it to them as well. So if you've had the experience buying property in Ghana and you've had issues, drop it in the comments what kind of challenges you guys have had. Because honestly, we're not alone. You're not alone. Okay. Somebody says on Instagram, lack of investment information from banks. Okay. That's a good one. That's a big one that happens. Anybody else want to share anything? I'm just checking if, thanks. Oh, Daniel, Hark TV UK. Thank you for joining on YouTube, as well. So, yeah, I mean, some people have said lack of investment information from banks. Any other challenges people have faced, or what kind of information that you guys are kind of looking for? And I'm hoping that today I'll be able to answer some of those questions as well. Any other things? Let me know. I'm seeing some messages come through. So guys, okay. Well, essentially what I'm going to be going through today is, okay, somebody has said, okay, I want to share this actually. Let me share this because it's important that you guys see. Was I sharing my screen? Did you guys see my screen? I don't think you were able to see my screen. Oh wow, okay. I'm gonna reshare the screen because it looks like you guys couldn't have seen that. So I'm gonna add to stage my presentation because it looks like you guys weren't able to see the presentation, which is very, very strange. But give me a thumbs up if you can see my presentation now, please. Somebody said they bought an incomplete house. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was sharing, but obviously you didn't see what I was sharing before. But at least you guys were able to follow me with what I was saying before, so that's good. At least, and thank you for the person who was letting me know that I was not sharing. So yeah, right, at least we are back live now with the presentation. Okay, right. Oh, so your house is complete now. Okay, so your house is complete. So amazing. Right, so the gap exists, and as I think I was sharing before, the issue that happened with developer X. So I'll just go back a slide so you guys can see essentially that what I was explaining to you about a situation that happened with a developer X situation earlier in the year. Somebody says on Instagram they've received fake documentation. So on Instagram, I've seen people have said fake documentation, lack of clear process from the banks. Somebody said they had an incomplete house, it's now complete. So a lot of us have had challenges when it comes to buying property in Ghana. So that's the reason why I'm doing today's conversation. Speaking very briefly about the diaspora gap, I'm going to speak very, very briefly about the Ghana property landscape in about 3 minutes. Then I'm going to be taking you through 5 steps of buying property in Ghana. Some of the steps you can actually finance property with, like kind of the ways that you can do it. And then giving you some more information about like how money could potentially, what kind of steps or what kind of stages in which you'll be sending money and transferring money over to Ghana, right? We've already spoke about, somebody said they've got inconsistent processes when it comes to banks. And then also speaking about TransferGo, who are the partner of today's webinar as well. If you're looking to actually send money to Ghana, then feel free to use my link, which is in the description box, so you can check that out as well. So guys, we've spoken a little bit about the diaspora gap. Now, typically what goes wrong? I think you guys have basically said it in the chat window. You guys have basically said it. Developer issues, no buyer protection, delay, somebody said about the incomplete house, family mismanagement. How many of you guys have sent money to your Uncle Kofi, and you think that he is building your house, but yet you go to his house or you see his house is looking brand spanking new? Like, he's basically taking your money and funneling it to buy his own, to build his own property. How many of you have experienced that? If you can testify to the fact that your family has mismanaged your money when it comes to you sending money back home, then please drop a comment in the chat. I want to see that I'm not alone. Okay. Also, fraud risk. We've just seen somebody on Instagram said they received fake documentation, right? So that happens. That happens a lot, and delays, as we've seen, especially also from developer X situation. So when it comes to the Ghana property landscape, right, there are a few things that are quite important for everybody to know. Now, this is one of the things that when people are sharing information about Ghana property, we definitely talk about different types of properties. So I think it's important to let you know what they are and how people refer to them, because it could be conveyed as one thing where you live and it could mean something totally different in Ghana. For example, in Ghana, when we talk about compound house, self-contained house, that essentially means a detached house for those of you that live in the UK or USA, right? Or Europe. So when we say compound house, or we say compound house sometimes refers to like family who have little rooms around in a compound, could also mean that. But it could also mean self-contained house, which means that your house is standalone. So it's a single family house, a standalone house where it's walled and it's occupied by one household, right? Sometimes it can refer to a compound house where, you know, in our villages where you've got your own family, as in your aunties, your uncles, your nephews, your nieces, they all live on the same compound. That's also could be referred to as that, right? Then you've also got townhouses. So townhouses, essentially, they're larger units, they're in complexes. Sometimes they tend to be in gated communities. They can also be like how in the UK referred to as terrace houses as well. So typically you'll find that in Ghana. Then you have the apartment buildings, aka a flat, for example. There's also duplexes. So duplexes are essentially in the UK what we call like maisonettes. Sometimes it can be like split level. So there's different terminologies for different types of properties in Ghana. So it's really important that you get familiar with these so you can understand the kind of property that you're looking to buy into as well. There are also 3 different types of residential properties in terms of where you can buy them at the stage, right? At which stage. So I tend to talk a lot about off-plan properties only because if you find a trusted developer, when you buy it off plan, you can get in for a good price, right? So off plan is essentially where it's pre-construction, is yet to be built, or it's still under construction. So you see the plan and then you buy the property based off the plan. There are risks involved. I want to be very transparent with that. There are, of course, risks involved with that, but it's important to know your reason and your why if you're looking to buy off plan. Then you've got already built property, so that's there ready for you to move into as well. So you can tend to buy, and there's a lot of built properties in Ghana. And then you can also opt for building for yourself as well. So you can decide to build with an independent contractor or an independent developer as well. You can decide to go down that way. Now, there are pros and cons with each of these, okay? So when it comes to buying off plan, typically for off-plan properties, they tend to be the cheapest entry point. Guys, if I'm going too fast, please let me know. I know I speak a lot, I speak very fast, but let me know If you're getting this, you're with me. Let me know if you've got any questions as well. Please do drop it in the chat and I'll make sure I try and pick them up as well. But essentially, when it comes to buying off plan, it's the cheapest entry point. They're most often going to be at least 20% discount of buying it, you know, when it's already ready, right? So you've already got the early capital appreciation that you potentially could get at the point of entry, right? Then you've got flexible payment plans. A lot of off-plan developers allow you to pay over a period of time in which that property is being constructed. So imagine that property is going to be built over 12 to 24 months. You've got that duration to build that property. For example, one of the properties that I'm marketing is called The Blossoms. You've probably seen it on my page by Gold Key Properties. Shout out to Gold Key. Blossoms, I have an amazing deal, amazing offer available as well. Our apartments are off plan at the moment and not going to be built until 2027, 2028. So you've effectively got 30 months to pay that property down, right? We've got studio apartments ranging from $60,000 right up to $200,000 and beyond, right? So you've got that duration, interest-free, to pay for those properties. But you're thinking, how can I send that amount of money to Ghana, right? So there's different ways in which you can do that. We're going to speak about how you can finance your property and also how you can transfer money to Ghana as well, right? Now, there are options as well that for you to speak to the developer to customize certain things when it comes to off plan. So if you're like me and you prefer closed kitchens as opposed to off plan kitchens, you might want to speak to the developer to make your kitchen closed as opposed to open. That's just a personal preference, but that's an example of what you could do at the stage of buying something off plan. There are also downsides as well in terms of buying property off plan. Construction delays is a huge risk, right? You must trust the developer. You must have seen the developer's previous track record. You must have the clauses locked down when it comes to the legal things, when it comes to the sales and purchase agreement. And the downside is you can't see the final work. I'd be honest. There have been some people that I know that have purchased property off plan, and when they bought where the property was ready, it showed in the plan that it would have a window somewhere. When it was purchased, it didn't have a window. When it was complete, it didn't have a window there, right? So there are these kind of risks that exist. So then you ask yourself, okay, what do I do at that point? That's where the legal SPAs, you make sure it's watertight. You make sure there are certain things that are in the clause. You make sure you get a lawyer. These are important things that you make sure you do before buying off plan. Now, if it's already built, thank you for the question on Instagram. I'll come back to your question. But if it's already built, the good thing about that is that what you see is what you get, essentially, right? You can move in immediately. There is no construction risk because it's already built, and it's easier for you to verify the finishing and the quality, right? But then the downside is that there are higher upfront fees. So that 20% that you would have saved buying something off plan, you're effectively paying that appreciation the moment that property is built, right? Then you've got limited room for customization. Like I shared, for me, I'm the kind of person, I like cooking palm oil or money, all these kind of things. I don't want that smell going into my living room. So I prefer closed kitchens, for example, right? But if you bought that property already built, then you have limited chance for you to customize that property as you would want it, right? And especially when you're buying built property, you've got less chance of you actually getting a long payment plan option, right? So that's the downside of getting a built property. Then you got build yourself. A lot of people come to me and they're asking for support with building their property, recommending them to developers, recommending them to independent contractor firms. If you're looking for that, please also do reach out to me and I can put you in touch with some of my partners. Of course, go and do your due diligence. I'm all about, guys, I want to put my disclaimer out there, right? The way that I work is I'm here to give you informed decision. I'm here to give you information to make your own informed decision. Okay. So whatever I put out, I always put a disclaimer out there. You need to be able to do your own due diligence. And that's the reason why I create educational content so that you are informed. You have the information for you to actually say, look, this is the standard I now want to achieve. So you're not just going in there blindly without a lawyer, without checking this, without checking that. So I'm giving you information so that when I do also give you somebody you potentially could work with, you've got the right questions to ask that person to determine whether or not you want to continue to work with that person, okay? I want to just put that out there, right? So if you are looking to build in Ghana, please do reach out and I can put you in touch with some of the partners I do work with. Now, when you're building yourself, you of course can spread the costs over a period of time because you're building, our parents, they spent 20 years building their own properties, right? By the time they finished it, it's now out of date. Fine. But if you want to take your time to build, you've got that chance to do that. And the good thing about it is often cheaper than buying something that's already built, right? If it's managed well. Now, the downside, it is probably the most stressful thing ever to build in Ghana, right? From purchasing the land to building. If you guys can attest to that, please drop a comment in the chat. If you guys have built property in Ghana, please drop it in the chat. Let me know your experience. Let's hear the experiences. If you built in Ghana, let me know. Let me know in the chat window. Yeah. Drop it in the chat as well. Okay. And yeah, the problem is you need to be there. One of my aunties, she was building remotely, and then what she decided to do was she'll use all of her leave, and she'll literally pull up a chair and sit on her site as they're bringing bags of cement. So she's counting the bags of cement. She's going to go and buy the paint. She's going to go and do all of this so she can actually monitor what's going on, because you never know. They'll be there mixing cement, and they'll be taking some of the cement for themselves. They'll be there saying that they're going to go and buy X number of buckets of paint, but they'll go and take some paint somewhere else and be mixing the rest of the paint for you as if they bought the 20 buckets for you. There are so many things that unless you go with them, you will never know. So building is stressful, but the pros is that if you're there in Ghana, if you're on the ground, you've got a trustworthy developer partner, then of course it can be done. And the great thing is that you can probably spread the costs. You don't have to rush. You have full control over the design. You can work with architects. There's some architects on the line, so I'm happy to partner, put you in touch with some of the architects that I'm aware of. You can go to my YouTube channel. You can see one of the most amazing architects as well that you could potentially reach out to and partner with. And then you can also look at making sure that you are in Ghana as often as possible to monitor your project. Now, when it comes to various locations in Ghana, you need to be aware of the various locations. Now, I want you guys to put it in the chat. Tell me the kind of locations you guys are building in, you're interested in. Put it in the chat. Let me know. Let me hear some of the locations that you guys are familiar with. Let's see. Put it in the chat window. Put it in the chat window. Let's see some of the locations that you guys are familiar with, that you're thinking about building. I want to know what you guys are familiar with, because we all are familiar with a number of different locations in Ghana. Abri, my hometown. Shout out to those of you. Oh, wow, more Abri people. Okay. My family members. Okay. Okay. Wow. I see. Okay. Promise you, these are not my family members. I don't think so. Unless you are, let me know so I can tell. Goma Fete as well on Instagram. Chado, for example, as well. Another person says Abri. I love Abri, guys. I love Abri. I love Abri. I love Abri. I love Abri. Okay. Goma Fete is one that's up and coming right now. It is definitely up and coming at the moment. So do check that out. Chado, the properties that I market as well are also in the Chado area. I've got quite a few around. But essentially, Ghana is broken down. Well, guys, again, let me put a disclaimer out there. When I speak about Ghana, I know Ghana is far greater and bigger than Accra, Abri, surrounding areas, Goma Fete, Cape Coast, the Central Region, all of that. I know, okay? But I'm going by my experience. My experience is largely around the Accra and surrounding areas. So please don't shoot me down when I'm talking about Ghana and I mistakenly avoid talking about the other areas, because I don't have much experience in the other areas as well. Okay, so I just want you guys to know that, but I'm giving you just general information. But typically, there are three main tiers when it comes to property. So prime locations, typically where most of you guys will potentially go when it comes to Christmas or Easter. These are the prime locations, the luxury tier. These are typically where you've got your high net worth individuals and the expats that are really driving this demand. These areas are typically recognized as those locations that we're all familiar with, right? Then you've got the mid-market tier. So these are typically those mid-market areas where you tend to see families and the expanding middle class living there, right? So examples of these are like Oyarafa, for example, Achimota, these kind of locations where you're seeing a growing middle class, and that's really driving the local real estate market as well in Ghana. You've got Tema and these kind of locations as well. Then you've got the emerging areas. So these are up and coming areas that investors are typically having their eyes on. So we've heard Chado, we've heard Abri. these are now moving into the prime. They were like local market now before. They become emerging, and now they've emerged, right? So these are the locations that people have their eyes on at the moment. So you can take a quick screenshot of this if you want to. But these are typically this list is not exhaustive, guys. It's not exhaustive. It's just essentially the areas that are typically prime, as well as emerging. So you've got your Jolu area, you've got Labone, you've got Cantonments, you've got Asu, East Legon, Adringano, Trasarco, for example, airport residential. If you guys if you typically visit these kind of locations, please put it in the chat. Let me know where you guys tend to go to and gravitate towards. But the emerging locations are like Pokwasi, Chado, for example, should be on the other side. East Legon Hills, Abri, Ayi Mensa, Oyarafa, Pram Pram. You guys have all mentioned that. I've seen it in the comments. I've seen what you guys have put as well. So these tend to be the kind of locations that most people are familiar with in the Accra and the surrounding areas. Let me just put my disclaimer out there, okay? Before anybody shoots me down. Right. So when it comes to these locations, typically if you're buying for investment, what tends to work really well in prime locations is studios and 1 beds. What works really well in the emerging locations tend to be 2 to 3 beds, right? Because it's more family locations, like locations that typically families like to live in. Now, I'm going to give you a quick overview in terms of the property market in Ghana. Now, this is data that I have is being put together by Sesso Global as well, a partner of mine, so shout out to them. But essentially, Accra, what's really important to know is that Accra's property market has emerged as Africa's 3rd fastest growing real estate market. That's something that is factual, right? There's an annual appreciation rate of about 4 to 5%, even during the challenging periods, right? So just something to be aware of. And a lot of that growth is driven by the fact that Ghana relatively, let me use that word before anybody comes and shoots me down, has a relatively stable market compared to its neighbors, okay? And a relatively growing economy and business environment, right? And a lot of this is driven by the diaspora community, essentially, given the fact that a lot of you guys are traveling to Ghana for this Christmas, they travel for Easter, they travel for the summer holidays as well, right? So what we're seeing more and more and more is that we are projecting that effectively is going to be a 5 to 10% growth in the real estate market. That is going to be driven by a lot of the urbanization. So a lot of people that are moving from, the more rural areas and they're gravitating towards more urban areas as well. So Accra, for example, whereas it's essentially the central business district, as well as Kumasi as well, because of the new international airport as well. There's a lot of infrastructure developments. We're seeing that with Kwasi, for example, the interchange. So a lot of these things are driving investments and then driving more and more people to build and buy in these locations. So the market is already moving, right? Now, a lot of people ask me, say, okay, it's too late to invest, right? You're not early, but you're also not late, right? It's not necessarily a cheap market right now. Things are, I'll be very transparent, are quite expensive right now, right? However, it's still affordable enough for you to see a potential return. Okay, so this also is a growth that is definitely citywide. So it's something the way you can potentially see that regardless if you're able to get in, that these zones are still having a lower entry price and flexible payment plans. So it does make it a little bit easier for yourselves as well, right? So I'm seeing the questions come through. Keep them coming through, guys, and I will make sure I try and answer them. Right. So let me give you 5 steps now for how you can actually buy property. Okay. So these are 5 steps. Get your notepads out, get your notes out. I'm going to give you these 5 steps. But these 5 steps are essentially going to cover alignment, selection, verification, structuring the deal, and safe money movement as well. That's really important. These are the 5 things that you potentially need to do, not potentially, but you need to do in order for you to get started. Okay. So when it comes to alignment is all about understanding where you're at right now. It's really important for you to understand, what are you looking for in Ghana? Are you looking to generate rental income? Are you looking to set up an affordable or profitable Airbnb? Are you looking to secure a family house, whether it's for personal use or for retirement, whatever it may be? Are you looking to kind of buy and hold, like to invest and just see whether or not it's going to appreciate in some time, right? But what's really important to note is that this is an investment, right? I repeat, I'm not a financial advisor, but I will put a disclaimer out there. You are investing, with any form of investment, your capital is at risk. That is my disclaimer. Okay, I'm not here to promise you guaranteed returns. That is not me. I'm here to help you to own a home away from home, to build your legacy. That is my message, right? Okay. But you can, of course, get a financial advisor to assess your individual situation and assess whether or not you have the capital that potentially can be risked for you to invest in real estate in Ghana. Okay. It's crucial for you to understand your risk tolerance before you actually commit to buy in Ghana. Okay. What's really important as well for you to understand your duration. So for those of you that reach out to me and ask me to help you buy a property in Ghana, I normally ask you, what's your timeline? So when you guys fill out my forms, normally there's a question on there. What's your timeline? It's important to understand, okay, how long have you got? What's your timeline? Are you looking to buy and hold? Are you looking to buy something that you can invest in that's going to be ready in a few years' time? What is it that you're looking to do? Okay, so make sure you set your timeline. That's really super important, right? Then you've got also your budgeting. Please, a lot of people come to me and say, look, this is how much I've got. I want to buy a property that's worth $150,000, right? If you've got your budget for $150,000, you can't buy a property that's $150,000. You have to be able to budget for other costs beyond the property price, right? You've got to look at additional costs such as legal fees, property inspections, taxes, renovation, etc., etc. These are other things you need to consider as well, okay? But generally, typically, when it comes to buying in Ghana, there is a general 3-20-30 rule. In fact, this is not even just Ghana. This is anywhere in the world. If you guys know about this general rule of thumb, please drop it in the chat so people know that I'm not just, speaking from experience. This is actually just a general rule of thumb around the world. If you're looking to buy property, the property price should generally be no more than 3 times your annual income, okay? Now, aim generally, if you're going to use a mortgage, aim generally for a 20-year mortgage or less. And in Ghana, the mortgages are up to 20 years anyway. And then typically, again, as I said, this is a rule of thumb. It might not work for everybody. Your monthly mortgage repayment shouldn't exceed at least 30% of your monthly income. So that's just generally something to bear in mind as well. I see the questions on Instagram, so I will make sure I answer these questions towards the end. But please do keep dropping your questions in as well. So when it comes to you selecting properties as well, we've spoken about locations already earlier on in the presentation, but typically you want to be able to filter your location. You want to be able to analyze your rental income potential and understand your property price appreciation as well. You want to be able to identify the kind of property you need. We've spoken a little bit about the different types of properties earlier on as well. You want to do your due diligence on the property you're purchasing as well, right? You want to be able to understand, right? What's the title deeds? Are there's zoning restrictions, any permit restrictions? Like, these are the kind of things you really need to understand. Guys, let me know if you've got any questions. Please do. I can see all the things in YouTube as well, so please do, all the comments as well. Please do keep them coming. The third step is verification. So once you have identified in terms of alignment what you're looking for, why you're looking for it, your next step as well is your location selection. We've spoken a little bit about that earlier on. Your third step is verification. We heard earlier on somebody shared how they purchased a house in, where is the comment? Let me go back and find that comment. Where is that comment? Here it is, right? Somebody bought a property in Winneba, incomplete house, documentation not in order, had to get a lawyer. It was questionable, right? This is the reality of what happens sometimes. So the most important thing for you is to make sure you are verifying the property before you buy, right? So the process in Ghana is different from what you might be used to, right? So you need to make sure you are searching, you're doing a title search. I even do this in the UK now. Like, if you're buying a property, you know there are ways for you to actually check who is selling you that property, right? So you can go and do that, and it costs like £20 or something, the equivalent, for you to go and do that. You can get it within 24 hours, right? So go and do a title search in Ghana. When you're buying that property, a lawyer can do this for you. You can do a litigation search as well. You can check out zoning. So zoning in Ghana really refers to whether or not that property is being zoned for commercial purposes or for residential purposes. So go and get that verified as well. You could end up building a property and it is zoned for commercial, but you're building your own residential property, right? Or vice versa. So you want to be a bit careful with that. And also, please check out the developer. I cannot stress this enough. Please check out the developer. Verify their track record, verify their reputation, verify their timelines, verify their financial stability. You want proof that they're going to be able to finish what they start. Okay, make sure you do this and you get everything documented in your SPA as well. Now, a lot of this does sound easy, but it's not that easy. And that's why there are agents like myself and brokers as well. And I also work to support you guys through this process by connecting you to lawyers and hand-holding you through these processes. So it sounds easy, but these processes are not. I have a lot of partners I can see. Shout out to Kwame as well. I saw him earlier on. Partners that I normally work with who do this work with me so we can make sure that you are as safe can be. But like I said, any investment, your capital is at risk. You just want to make sure you do as much due diligence as possible before you purchase your property, okay? So now number 4, structuring your deal. So typically when it comes to you finding the right property, you've aligned, you've looked at the location, you know exactly where you want to buy, you've got your lawyer involved, your lawyer is now going to structure the deal, right? Or you're also going to make sure that you've got the right documentation from the developer or the person you're purchasing the property from. So typically, if you're buying from a developer, you will get an offer letter. The offer letter would include the unit type, the size, the price, the payment structure, the timelines, what's included, the fixtures, finishing, amenities, penalties, and delays on both sides. That typically comes in the form of an SPA, a sales and purchase agreement. So with that sales and purchase agreement, you should be able to have all of this information outlined in there, right? And what the penalties are if they miss their timeline or if you miss your payment schedule as well. When it comes to deposits, I do highly recommend when you're sending deposits through to Ghana, make sure you get official receipt, make sure you get confirmation of how much money was sent, and make sure it's clear from the offset. If, for example, I have clients that come to me and they say they're going to send a reservation fee, but bear in mind that reservation fee sometimes and most often is non-refundable. So if you decide to change your mind, then that money that you sent is non-refundable in most cases, okay? So you just want to be clear on that. But the deposit is the one that locks in your unit. And a lot of the time when people are selling properties off plan, they will give you an early bird offer. And that's the time that I normally, if it's with a verified developer, that's when I will normally buy it, because you've got not only the capital appreciation that you will typically get, but you've got extra, right? Discount, because you're getting in with early bird prices. So that's also something to note. Now, there will be an installment schedule. So a lot of developers, the good thing is a lot of developers, especially if they're building over 24, 30 months, will be very flexible. You can actually propose to them a payment structure. They will come with a typical outline, which will be something that you can pay monthly or quarterly, but you can propose something. You might say, I want to pay 20% now, and then you might want to pay like another 20% in 6 months or whatever it may be, right? You can suggest something based on your timeline and see if they will agree or meet you in the middle somewhere. So it's really important that you can let them know, come to an agreement of how much you're paying in terms of duration, in terms of the timeline. But there are also ways for you to structure deals around milestones. Okay, it doesn't work for everybody, but some developers allow you to pay through an escrow account, and that way you can release funds depending on the stage in which that property reaches, right? Now, you can as well put in certain clauses in your sales and purchase agreement in terms of what happens when a developer misses a deadline. So that depends on how good your lawyer is. They're potentially able to put that in there and get the developer to agree. So generally, when it comes to documentation that you require before and during the deal, please ensure that you collect your signed offer letter, your payment receipts, your sales and purchase agreement, right? And any approved architectural plans if applicable, and identification and proof of ownership. This is really super important as well. So number 5, when I asked you earlier on what you guys wanted information on, a lot of you did say financing options. So here it goes, right? So when it comes to buying property in Ghana, there are multiple different ways. Ghana, cash is king, right? Developers, they love cash. So if you have cash, they will take it by force, by fire. They even give you a discount if you pay with cash. So most people might use their savings, for example, or they might remortgage or refinance their property and assets they might have elsewhere and release some equity in order for them to purchase that property. I myself have done that in the past, right? But what also exists is what's called, okay, by Bank of Ghana laws, it's not called a diaspora mortgage, but it's mortgages for people that do not reside in Ghana. Let me just put it that way, right? But for you guys today, because you're not from Bank of Ghana, they are called diaspora mortgages. So essentially, where you do not reside in Ghana and you can demonstrate that you have heritage, parentage, citizenship to Ghana, that is Ghanaian, you can get this mortgage. Some of the banks, and most of the banks, offer it in terms of financing for your property purchase. So you would need the offer letter, the sales and purchase agreement, before getting your mortgage, because the bank will need to verify that developer that you're buying the property from, right? There, I can give you so much more information about this, but one thing that's really important to note is that the interest rates are double digits on the dollar. Okay, so there are different ways in which you can obtain these mortgages. If you're not a Ghanaian as well, there's 1 or 2 banks that allow you to actually get a diaspora mortgage if you're not Ghanaian, but you do have to put down a 50% deposit. So if anybody wants to find out more about diaspora mortgages, do join my next live, because I'm going to be jumping on another live with Sesso Global, and we can have a conversation about that. And also just reach out to me and I can share more information about that as well. Yes, Kwame, I've seen, let's call them mortgages for non-residents. So yes, you're absolutely right. That's what I've mentioned here. So developer payment plans. Developer payment plans, essentially what I mentioned to you guys before. If you are not looking to get interest accrued, right, on your financing, that you can pay through an interest-free payment plan with your developer. Now, most developers will allow you to pay during the construction period over a period of time. Some developers will allow you to move in and then pay for probably a restricted amount of time of like 1 year, as long as you have a substantial deposit that's been paid. So there are ways in which you can actually structure that finance. So these are the various ways. Typically, there are other ways, but just get in touch and I will help to give you more information. Right. So there are different ways on different times, actually, in which money leaves the UK or the EU, or those of you, I mean, today we've had people from Antarctica on the line. If you guys are just joining me, okay, please put in the comments where you guys are watching from, because today I've already seen people from Antarctica, Brazil, Netherlands, Florida, New York, Ghana, London. Somebody says Dansuman. So depending on where you guys are at, please put it in the chat so I know you guys where I see where you guys are coming from, because yeah, everybody's from, oh yeah, Barbados. I feel like I've got a Bajan accent. Do you like it? Sorry, let me know my Bajan accent is good. Shout out to Gooba Awards, actually, who just recently held their award ceremony in Barbados. That just seemed amazing as well. But yes, originally from Jamaica, amazing. Just people here from around. I'm like, wow, the fact that this is just global is just incredible. It's really incredible to me. So yeah, there's 4 main ways in which you can actually, where your money is leaving wherever you are and sending it to Ghana. Of course, first of all, most developers will ask for a reservation fee. This is a small fee that you would use to hold the unit, right? This is for them to know that you are serious. You are buying this property. Then you'll pay a deposit. Now, deposit is like typically around 10 to 20%, if not more. And your reservation amount comes out from that, right? So it's not just a reservation fee on top of the amount. It comes out from that. So you'll pay your reservation fee, then you'll pay your deposit, then you'll pay an installments, and then you'll have your final payment. That's typically the times when you are sending money to Ghana if you're looking to buy a property in Ghana. All right. Okay. So these are the various ways and various stages in which you will be sending money. I see somebody here from Chicago. Fun fact, I used to live in Chicago. Fun fact. Okay. So Jacob, I see you on Instagram. I used to live in Chicago. I used to live Belmont and Halstead. Yep. Lakeside. I used to live there. North Side. Okay. Shout out to my North Sides. Doesn't sound the same as Southside, does it? Right. So here's a big question. How do you ensure, so all those 4 steps in which you're sending money, how do you ensure your payments are actually reaching the developer or your family? And how do you make sure that it's going there safe and you're not losing half your money in transfer fees? I recently had a client who was sending money even with wires. And a lot of us maybe have used wires in the past. I kid you not, it took over a month for him to chase that money with wires. Okay. This is no lie. He might even be on the live today, but I'm not mentioning his name, obviously. But there are multiple different ways in which you can transfer, but I've seen it with my own eyes. Even, yeah. But let me know if you guys have had any problems sending money to Ghana. Put it in the chat. Let's see some of the things that you guys have experienced, whether it's delays, whether it's fees, whether somebody has received an accurate amount. Like, put it in the chat. Let's hear what your experiences have been as well. But one of the things that I really think is quite important is making sure that when you do send money, you're sending the money with the right person, right? The right company. And today's webinar is brought to you by TransferGo, who I'm doing this webinar in partnership with. And this is really around how you can transfer money safely from the UK and Europe using regulated platform like TransferGo. So if you're looking to send money, and as I said, there are 4 different ways in which you can send money to Ghana, or not 4 different ways, 4 different stages of your buying property in which you would actually send money and it's leaving the UK and or Europe or wherever you are in the world and sending it over, right? So with TransferGo, you can actually send money to Ghana, Nigeria, and other African countries as well, right? So it's a fast, secure way for you to transfer money to people in the UK and Europe, and there are 0 transaction fees, right? Especially if you're a new user. So if you're looking to actually get TransferGo and send some money to Ghana or Nigeria, wherever you are, then please do check out my link. It is pinned in the description, so don't check that out. But if you're looking to set up your TransferGo account, it's really, really super simple. All you need to do is log in, create your account to get started, essentially if you're a new user, and then you can choose your place of residence. So if you are here in the UK, or in the Europe, for example, you can just simply type in or simply put in UK. And then wherever you're sending the money to, you can then put in Ghana, for example. And then you can identify what the transfer rate is for the day. Okay, so that's your opportunity to go and see what is the transfer rate for that day. And it will also show you that the timeline in which that is going to be delivered. Okay, and then you can just create your account and then you can then send money really, really super and really easy. So just check out this video really quickly so you can get more information on how you can actually send money using TransferGo.
Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to send money to Ghana in the TransferGo app. First you have to open up the app, and here it opens up in the home menu. From here under Explore Rates, we just tap on the second toggle list. Now we scroll down until we find Ghana, then we tap on it, and here we can just provide the amount of money that we would like to send, followed by tapping on Start to Transfer. And here we can enter the first name, last name, and phone number of the recipient, after which we just tap on Continue and add our debit card details and confirm the transfer. That's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
So yes, that is how you could use TransferGo as well. So simply enter the amount, enter the recipient, choose a delivery method, confirm the transfer, and then you can track it also in the app. So guys, do check out TransferGo, and you can sign up using my referral link, which is pinned down below, or is http://trgo.co/en/r/my name, Lorraine. And you can also check it out in the description box as well if you would like to sign up. Please do know, just head over to TransferGo, get it, and then sign up using my referral link as well, so you can send money. Like I said, if it's coming to the time when you want to send money to Ghana, whatever it may be for, then please feel free to check out TransferGo as well. So, guys, why is it really important for you to actually know what money is being sent where? And why does it make sense for you to send it with TransferGo, right? The exchange rates are great as well. The amount you send is exactly what arrives, and you always have proof of your payment. So at least when you're now sending money to Ghana to buy your property, okay, the company, the developer would have received some money. You can actually say, look, this is what I sent with TransferGo, and then you've got that evidence. Like I said, I have one of my clients who used Wise, for example, to send money, and it took over a month for that money to be received and understand where that went, right? But this good thing about this is that you can avoid that kind of issue. You always have proof of payment. You can avoid informal, unsafe transfer methods. And you've got traceability. You can be protected from fraud as well. And TransferGo is FCA regulated in the UK and has been used by over 5 million users worldwide as well. So, guys, please do drop your questions in the comments. We've just reached the top of the hour. I know there's a lot of questions that came. Like I said, thank you. Shout out to people that joined. We had people from Antarctica, Brazil, Netherlands, Jamaica, Barbados, Accra, London. My gosh, there was people from everywhere around Florida, New York, Chicago. I'm Japan. Oh my gosh, we had Japan in the building as well. It's incredible to see. So guys, I'm just going to try and go through and see if I can just get all the questions answered as well. So let me stop sharing and find the questions that we had. If you've got any more questions, just drop it in here. I'm trying to find all the questions that came up that I haven't answered, because some of them I think I answered during the presentation. Any mortgage opportunities in Ghana? So I think I've answered that question now about the mortgages. So we've answered that question, but if you want to find out more about mortgages, then please do reach out to me. How long is the period of time over which payments will be made for the bucks yourself options? Oh, for the build yourself options. Okay. It depends how long you're looking to build. I mean, that the building is now going to be totally up to you in terms of how long or the duration in which you want to build your property. But, you know, if you're going to be working with a contractor or a development firm, you'll agree together in terms of the timeline in which you want to build over. So that building yourself is based on your own timelines, to be honest, and based on what you want to do. Somebody agrees and says 100% stressful. You need a team that can verify and show you previous or ongoing projects. Absolutely agree with you. Is Oyarifa a good location for Airbnb? Okay, this is a good question. Is Oyarifa a good location for Airbnb? Oyarifa is an up and coming location. And given that it is, I have one of my developer partners that is based in Oyarifa as well. And actually, I've got a few developer partners in the Oyarifa, Ayu Mensa area. And it is actually a really good location for Airbnb. It probably wouldn't command the same rental yield that you can get in the prime locations. But the great thing about it, it's more for, you're probably going to get long-term appreciation, and you're going to get long-term tenants as well. Because it tends to be a location where you would typically get families, and you typically get people that are kind of like the growing middle class will be living there as well. It's not so far from, you know, it's on a good day, 30-minute drive, you know, on a bad day, how long is a piece of string, you know? So it does depend, but for Airbnb, typically for expats that are staying for a longer period of time, it's a great place. For families, it's a great place. What you probably would not get are those individuals that are coming in for like a short time and they just want to be in the center of town. That's probably what you're not going to get. But for others, it's really great for, like I said, the capital appreciation as well. So I hope that answered your question. Let's see if there's more questions. What financing structures or institutions are available specifically for developers? Realistic finance pathways for institutional lenders? Yes, please, Jacob, reach out to me, because I have a partner who actually provides financing for developers as well. Mortgage companies do provide it as well, who are building their own, for people that are building their own properties. But I do have a partner that is providing financing for developers as well. So do let me know. As long as it's not, are you doing it in the JV way? Do you own the land? So these are questions that we'll probably need to get on the line and speak about in more details. Do I know any UK mortgage lenders that will lend for properties in Ghana? No is a short answer. However, there are some banks that have custodial accounts that could be used to fund counts in Ghana as well. But this is an ongoing discussion that's been done. But most people would refinance their properties, and they might have. I'm not saying go and do this, guys. So please, that's my disclaimer. I've done it, but I'm not telling you to do it unless it's based on your own situation. You may want to refinance, release equity, and use that potentially to buy property outside, because you can get it for cheaper options. But I do believe there might not be banking institutions, but there might be other let me not even say this. Reach out to me. Let's discuss. Let's discuss. Can you rent somebody's home and yes. Can I just rent somebody's home and apartment for Airbnb instead of buying the unit? Yes. Let me put in the chat my link to find out more about rent to rent in Ghana. Let me just put that in here. What is the link? I think it's rent to rent. Rent to rent. I think this link will take you to. I think this link will take you diasporatohome.com/rent to rent. That should take you to find out more about how you can actually do Airbnb using other people's properties in Ghana. So I do have a whole presentation about that and more information. So you can reach out to me about that. Yes, so guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys want to learn more, then please, of course, reach out. You guys are watching me on my social medias anyway, so you already have my details. And like I said, today's webinar was brought to you in partnership with TransferGo as well. You can register using my TransferGo referral link as well, and you see that link in the description box below. So guys, I appreciate you guys joining, and until next time, we'll see you. For those of you that are heading to Ghana this year, then please do visit, check out my next live that I'm about to jump on right now, okay, about how you can join the Ghana real estate tour as well in Ghana. So you're more than welcome to follow my details or follow me, whatever platform you're on, so that you can learn about how you can join my up and coming real estate tour for those of you that are traveling to Ghana for Christmas. So guys, I'll see you again. Oh, wow, there's more questions. So if I were to buy a 1 or 2 bed apartment wanting long-term tenants and not Airbnb, which areas in the crowd would you recommend? Reach out to me and we'll talk about it. Okay, I'll give you the information. Okay, guys, have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, and I'll see you on my next live. Take care. Bye. Bye.